Welcome to Shut the Front Door. This is episode 3.
And remember, as well as listening, you can also watch us on YouTube. We are releasing a video every single week.
Yeah, make sure you follow, subscribe. That way you'll be the first to know of any new episodes. And of course, like, comment, all of that stuff as well.
You can also find us on socials. We are on Instagram and TikTok, obviously, as well as YouTube. So our handle for that is Shut the Front Door.
Right, should we get into it?
I feel like we've seen each other a little bit more than usual recently.
I know.
But we've still not told each other anything that's happened recently.
No, I know. And that's actually been the hardest part, is like when we have seen each other to not talk about what's been going on.
You start and I go, wait till the podcast, I want to react naturally.
Okay, so I obviously went on a little solo trip.
You
recently
did.
I went, and everyone,
bold, by the way.
I know, everyone always says, oh, you went alone. But I think the first time I went, I was like, it's like going for dinner part, which is like the hard part.
Yeah.
But a job got cancelled and I was like, do you know what? I've now got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday off. That's like unheard of for me. So I was like, do you know what? I'm just going to go and sit in the sun. I went to Tenerife, had like...
She did invite me. I just want to put that out.
Yeah, no, I did. Obviously, like my first choice wouldn't have been to go on my own, but I did go on my own.
Yeah.
And I had my little routine. It was great. I literally like... I didn't mean to do this, but I was the youngest person in this hotel by a mile.
All right, get that in there.
No,
get it. You're pushing 31. You're 31 at this stage.
I'll be 30.
Anyway, yeah. We won't mention your age.
Everyone there was like 50, 60 plus. Like it was quite cute. It was all like old couples.
Yeah, that's cute.
Anyway, I had my little routine of going down to the pool, literally just chilled in the day, went for lunch, came back, went up, got changed, like normal stuff you do on holiday.
Yeah.
And then every time I'd go down for dinner at about 7:30, have an hour down at dinner, go back up, watch Netflix, go to bed. It was like the perfect routine for like a properly chilled holiday. Didn't drink any alcohol when I was there, just
Dreamy.
like smoothies and acai bowls.
All right, we get it. You're a fitness
So
queen.
basic. But anyway, so one of the first days I got there, I had to record a podcast. So I sat down at the pool and there's this guy behind me in like Speedos and he was on his own and obviously saw I was on my own.
What was it looking like? Talent down there or?
No. No.
Okay.
I mean, he wasn't bad looking.
I didn't mean that.
Oh, what did you mean?
How tight were the Speedos? Could you tell?
Oh, stop. I wasn't looking. I just like...
Well, you noticed.
Why is that?
Speedo.
Yeah, because like... They are like stand outy, but I wasn't like staring at him as he was walking. But other people were, right? All the old people and like the women there were staring at him because he was on his own. He was tall, dark, and I was like, I basically.
Minus the handsome.
He was no. To be fair,
dark.
if most people looked at him, they probably would say he was handsome, but I didn't find him attractive.
Yeah.
Anyway, the next day, I'm sat down at the pool, and he comes over and he's like walks over to my sunbed. And he goes, oh, sorry about yesterday. And I was like, oh, like, no, it's fine. Don't worry. He was like, I didn't mean to scare you because he like almost like made me jump a little bit because he made a noise behind me.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was there. Didn't think anything of it. And then he goes, I just wanted to start conversation. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And I had an empty sunbed next to me with my stuff on it. And he just looked at me and went, do you want company?
Do you want?
And
Do you want? As if he's about to do you the biggest favour of your life.
So in that moment, I should have just been like, I felt like it would be too abrupt to be like, I have a boyfriend, sorry. But like in that moment, I
a bit presumptuous as
yeah,
well. Yeah.
But I mean, to try to suggest coming to sit on a sunbed next to me.
Yeah, you know, I'd be like, oh, you don't want to be my friend.
So I was, yeah, you would. I was just like,
Naive.
no, thanks. I'm just going to read my book and sleep. And he was like, okay. He was like, I've got to leave in an hour anyway. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to sit down anyway.
I've got plans. Like, I don't even know why I asked you to do that. Anyway, he then walks off. Then he comes back about 10 minutes later and he goes, like he was like, oh, the worst part about being alone is going for dinner, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, but like when you go down there, like once you've gotten over people looking at you, I think it's fine. And then he went, do you want to go for dinner tonight?
Oh my God, get the hint.
And I was like, no, I'm all right, thanks. And in that moment was when I should have said, I have a boyfriend, I think it would be inappropriate. And then he comes back, literally about 10 minutes later, and he goes, I'm going at 7 if you change your mind. And I was like, well, that's ruined my whole routine. Yeah. Because now I don't want to go down to to dinner at 7:30 because I know he's going to be there and it's going to be awkward. So anyway, I'm like calling Gemma and I'm like, Gemma, like I don't know what to do, really don't know what to do here. She's like, okay, fine, like just go down and stay on FaceTime to me. So I went down about 8:30. Dinner closes at 9, but I was like, I need to go down at 8:30. So I'm like walking in like on FaceTime to her, like scouring the room to just see if he's there. He's not, because I just didn't want it to be awkward. I didn't want him to like come and sit at my table.
Yeah. Imagine if you were on FaceTime to Gemma.
Right? Yeah.
if you're on FaceTime with Gemma and he just sits there and it's like...
I don't know what I would have done. Anyway, last thing he did, oh my God, he was so persistent, was he came and I was in the pool reading my book. And he was like, do you mind? And I was like, oh my God. Came and sat down next to me and was like, do you have a boyfriend? I was like, yes.
Oh.
And he was like, why are you solo traveling then? And I was like, oh, because like, I just...
So he's waited 4 days to ask you if you've got a
Yeah,
boyfriend.
I mean, then I didn't tell
Ignorance is
him.
bliss.
I
If you don't know, still keep trying.
He was actually like a nice guy. Like, it wasn't creepy vibes. It was just like a lot. Do you know what I mean? And I just wanted to chill. I didn't really want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to be on my own. Just wanted to do my own thing.
What's mental about these things, right, is that if, say you were single, or even not, but like if you liked him and someone had come up to you and done
Oh my God, you'd be like buzzing.
Oh my God, like this is the best story.
Yes to
do
going,
it for the plot.
yeah.
Unbelievable. I've been asked out on dinner. That would be the best story ever. But as soon as someone does it or asks for your number or speaks to you in the street that you're like, I don't fancy you, and like you're weird. You're like, that was so weird. They spoke to me in public. Like that's actually
you rate
harsh,
it.
and half the time we go, I wish people would approach you in public.
100%.
And then as soon as they do, and they're not the person that you want to do it, you're like, that's weird.
Yeah, 100%.
Like, we need to
it wasn't
stop doing
weird.
that.
It wasn't creepy. It was just, I think
that.
because I was in the state of mind where I was on my own. I'd been on a solo holiday. I was on a solo holiday. I wanted to go on a solo holiday.
Yeah.
Like, and I would encourage so many people to do it, by the way.
So having had that story and gone on your solo holiday, would you advise it to other people? I've done it, but would you advise it to other people?
100%. And I think the hardest part is always going to be going for dinner on your own. But like...
How do you like, have you got any tips for like when you do go to dinner on your own?
Take a book. Take your AirPods.
Yeah.
Like I was sat there like reading. I watched a document, like a YouTube when I was watching YouTube when I was having dinner, or I was on FaceTime. Like it just like little things like that. But like if you're happy, like I'm so happy sitting in the sun on my own.
Oh, same.
Oh, like I can sit in the sun all day, like all
Breakfast
day.
is fine
Yeah,
as well,
breakfast,
weirdly.
lunch, all day is fine. It's just the dinner part because I think people look at you and like, oh my gosh, she's on her own. But like once you've gotten over that initial like, oh, what are you doing? Like, why are you on your own?
Also, people don't care what you're doing.
No, they do look though. You have to be prepared because people do
Probably
look.
looking because they're like, gosh, she's a pretty girl.
No, they're not. They're like, why are you on
they're
your
not.
own? But I would encourage everyone, if you haven't done it and you are thinking about doing it, definitely do it because you will absolutely love it. You will. And I know it's hard and it's definitely a hard thing to do.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to actually get up and do it and like fully
But then
go.
once you've done it, you're like, that
Once
was
you've
great.
done it, you'll be like, why didn't I do that sooner?
My phone died when I was having dinner on my own on a solo holiday. And it was amazing. I made best friends with one couple on my left, and then they left, and I made best friends with a couple on my right.
To be fair, I had a really old couple. They were really cute. The
Yeah, they were
guy,
all
the guy
old,
sat next to me and was like,
old
"Oh,
people are
what
so
are you
nice.
having for dinner?" And I was like, "Oh, it's really sweet." And then the next day at the pool, he came and spoke to me again, and I was like, "Oh, that's really sweet."
Wow. Well, that sounds like a great holiday, and you had a great tan. So
I had a great time. I was burnt, that turned to tan. I was very burnt.
and that's just a good story to take away from it.
What about you, anyway?
I think I'm still clinging on to something that happened recently in one of my weeks. You were there for it, but can we just address, because we've not really spoken about it. We were on a night out recently, Liv and I, and I've got this habit at the moment of messaging ChatGPT about everything.
Yeah.
And it's 3 a.m, right? We're on a night out. So I'm sat there on my phone just talking to ChatGPT, being like, I want to message my ex. Because I basically said, I was out with Liv and my friend called Grace. And I said to them, guys, I really, really want to message him. And they were like, why? Like, don't.
It was more just because you've been so strong over the last 6 months and you haven't messaged him that I was like, don't undo all of that now because I know you'll regret it. And I tried telling you that, but when you're drunk.
And it makes so much sense. And like usually when I want to do it, like one of my friends, they'll like stay and I'll be like sad about it or whatever. And they'll just be like, don't do it. If you still want to do it in the morning, we can talk about it then. But put your phone away now and don't do it. So I messaged ChatGPT, explained my reasoning and everything. They said kind of like no at first. And then he was like, I think you should just message. And I was like, what should I message? And he was like, just say, it was basically something along the lines of like, I miss you. God, I'm mortified.
So anyway, she did.
Anyway, so I did it. And then we got home.
No, you unsent it before we'd even got home.
I'm going off what So then I looked at the messages. 10 minutes later, was obviously watching to see if he came online.
We were
for about 10
still in the
minutes.
taxi. So she sent it in the taxi. And we were still in the taxi on the way home when she was checking to see if he was online. And then still...
I mean, at 3 a.m, if he's online, I've got bigger issues. And like, he's got bigger issues than my messages. Anyway, he didn't reply in the 10 minutes, so I unsent it. So instead of waking up to a message that already I would have been embarrassed about, he's now woken up to message deleted for everyone that comes up still on WhatsApp. So now I've just been left with a bloody message deleted. Like, it's mortifying. It's like when you fall over. It's like when you fall over, yeah? Like, and you're in the middle of the road and there's so many people watching, stay down and milk it. Or just get up and laugh it off, but acknowledge it happened. Don't like act like no one's seen it and just like scurry off. It's icky. I don't know. I've done the ickiest thing, but it's happened now. I think this is my one thing. Everyone's allowed one slip up, right? When they break up with someone, they're allowed one slip up to message their ex. It just happens. But I've now used my one slip up and then removed it.
Yeah, it was a bit. I mean, I can't. I literally sat there and was like, "Don't do it, don't do it, don't do it." And you were like, "I'm going to do it," and I was like, "Okay." And then you were like, "I've unsent it," and I was like, "Exactly, the reason not to do it." But anyway, that leads us on quite nicely to
what we want to talk about.
What we want to talk about today, which is the worst ways to be broken up with. Do you? I don't know who.
God.
My one's more like funny in the way that I found out, but like. I feel like we should start with yours.
Mine's recent and
traumatic
and not so funny yet.
No,
I mean, it might be eventually. I'm waiting for the day that I laugh about it.
Yeah,
which we do sometimes laugh about it.
We just laugh about how mental it is, basically.
Yeah. So I'll start. So I personally do think that this is the worst way to be broken up with or ended with or whatever. So my story is after my heart rate goes every time. After a year of seeing someone, they were basically like we'd spoken about like having kids, getting married. He'd spoken about like the way that we want, like how he wanted to get married.
Can I just say, like, in that time I've been with someone as well, and we wouldn't have like dreamt to say some of the things that Ellie and her. This guy were saying to each other, like some of the messages, I was just like, oh my God. Like not that I don't feel like that, but like I would never say it in the ways that he said some of the things to you and then do what he then did to you.
I mean, we were seeing each other for a year. He was literally, no offense, Liv, but like my best mate at the time, like told him everything. I think that's what's like.
You know, the funny thing is that I don't get offended by that.
Yeah,
but like if I said like Tom's my best friend, she'd be like, I'm your best friend.
Yeah, Tom's not your best friend. I'm your best friend. You've got that wrong.
But like I feel like best friends as partners and best friends are different. But like you can still have best friends as both. But like
I think it's just like
I've never seen Ellie, like we've been mates for however long and close for however long. I've never seen her like this about anyone ever in your life. I was like, and like part of me wanted to like believe that everything he was saying to you was true, because you have to be so mentally fucked up to say the stuff that he said to you and not mean it. So like I did believe
I think that is like the difficulty with it, because it's like you look back on it and it's like you've seen someone for a whole year and then out of nowhere, like they just don't reply to your message one day. And then it's just like, and it's never... you look back on it and you're like was everything that you ever said a complete lie?
Yeah.
And like you're looking back at like different moments, like you look back at your like pictures and videos and the messages and you're like, how can someone possibly make that stuff up? Like that's what's mental. And then you're like, I've wasted a year of my life on someone that like did they ever mean anything? I would have given up absolutely everything for him at the time.
Like, you would have sacrificed like
everything
in your life, which is mental. Given like where you are, your career, everything, you would have given that all up for him.
Yeah,
and that is mental.
Yeah, like just to be ghosted by someone, no answers, no closure, and I'm not someone that like would like double message like and be like, reply, why are you not replying? What are you doing? Like if he didn't want to reply to the message that he didn't reply to, that's like it says enough. So yeah, didn't really hear from him. And then I kind of like stopped really messaging, because I was just like, if you want to talk to me, like you will talk to me. He was away and it was like, I'm not seeing you anyway. Like I just need to start like kind of moving on sort of thing. And then on New Year's Eve, so it's just a couple of days later, that was already like, right, you've just not replied to my message. Like New Year's Eve, I get a message. So I was like, hey, I'd said, hey, are you awake? And he was like, still not awake. 2 days later, still not awake. What do you mean, still not awake?
That is like one of the worst, like who does he think he is? Still not awake?
Yeah.
That is so rude.
Like, is that like, are you trying to be funny?
Yeah, he is trying.
You've already hurt me, so it's not funny.
No, he is trying to be funny, and it went down like a sack of shit. Like, it's not funny at all. You hadn't spoken for how long?
He hadn't replied.
He hadn't replied to your, and you. 3 days. I'm pretty sure, like the one before that, wasn't it quite a long message?
No, we had just. I just like I knew that it was like I wasn't getting much back, and like he sent a message and I was like, you've given me nothing to reply to, kind of thing. And like it was just a bit like
Still
it was
not
like a couple of
awake,
weeks
I'm
of
sorry.
just like what? Like
I'm sorry, that's so I
still not
hate
awake.
I mean I hated him anyway,
Yeah.
but like I hate him even more.
Then I replied to that being like, what do you want? That was in reply at like 2 a.m. I'd stared at his message for 40 minutes at this point, still not awake. And then I replied, what do you want? I'd literally stared at it. Time flies when you stare at a message on WhatsApp. Let me just tell you that.
Maybe I have.
Yeah, honestly, next thing I know, I'm like, I've not replied very quickly, have I? So then I sent this long message basically saying, okay, great. Well, clearly it's not me. So unless that changes, don't bother messaging me at all. You can't just pick and choose when it suits you to speak to me. I'm better than that. And if you don't realise that, then you really have no idea what you've lost anyway. When you realise how much you fucked up, and I hope you have it in you to tell me and do something about it, and it's not too late. The end bit's a bit wet. I gave you, because that bit wasn't. I gave you my whole heart, but until the day you don't just want to tread on it and you realise how much that meant, then you don't get to have it anymore. And then I followed it up with can you please just acknowledge that you've read this? And that was on the 1st of January. And I have not heard anything from him since. Yeah. It is the hard part is like just looking back and not knowing if any of it. And then hearing stories about him that make it just like, you just don't know.
I mean,
you're
it's
second guessing everything.
Awful way to be broken up, with, because technically like you weren't even broken up with.
Yeah.
But then like
it wasn't being it's not being broken up with, it's not even being ended with. You have like nothing to go off like.
But to put a lighter spin on it, I decided to tag him in my Instagram story the other day.
Liv basically said in her caption on my birthday, because there's other stuff that's happened because of him that I've not dealt with, like,
but also like horrific things,
like horrific,
that you've had to go through
because of it.
So I just put like, I'm so proud of like how you've gotten past, like how you've gotten through these past 6 months. And we were then like, I don't know if we were drinking. Were you drinking? Maybe we were.
Yeah.
And we were like, oh my God, I'm going to tag him because you can like hide the tag on Instagram. And he's got quite a lot of followers, but I just thought, I've got a blue tick on Instagram. So like,
big duh.
No, but like I just thought like if he sees his message requests, which I know every single person checks their message requests.
Yeah.
Every single person, no matter who you are, checks your message requests. So I think, even though he didn't like, I couldn't see if he'd seen my story, I couldn't see if he'd viewed it, but I think he might have seen it. And that's all I wanted. I just wanted him to see it. I don't really know why, and it's probably not the wisest of ideas, but you know.
I just don't think that he cares. That's the thing. Like, you know, when you break up with someone or like you end with someone, like you know that there's remorse, or like you can get. I think like my difficult thing is it's been 6 months and I can't move on. Like you know,
but you will be able to.
I know, and I want to, but I think it's like when you don't get coached from anything.
It's so
I look
hard.
back on everything and I'm like. Was it ever real? Will I ever even see him again to ask him any of the questions? And like, did he ever have any like respect for me at all?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know the answer to any of those things.
Time is a healer, though. I know that's so cliche, but like it genuinely is. And like it's been 6 months. You've got past these 6 months.
You compare everything to that person. And I'm like,
I've been through
on dates, and I'm like, it's just.
I've been through that situation. No, not that situation, but the situation where you thought that you were never going to meet someone that you did, and then I met Tom.
Anyway, try and top that.
I don't even have my
yours is funny.
Mine might be
make me laugh.
Yeah,
too.
this is a funny one.
Cry.
So this was a while ago now. It was my last boyfriend before Tom, and we'd been going through like a rocky patch. I was basically like, listen, like I'm not feeling the same. I don't know why, but like I don't want to give up. I want to sort of like work through it. So anyway, we were at my family house, and I was with my nephew, like baby, and he went through my phone. So he comes downstairs, or he's like, Liv, come upstairs, and he'd seen a message on my phone from someone.
He'd said something inappropriate.
He just basically sent something that like. You wouldn't want another man saying to your girlfriend, basically. And basically, I didn't really shut it down. I didn't really be like, oh, are you trying to chew?
Yeah.
No. Anyway, I was just like, listen, he was like, I'm going to go. He was like, I don't want to be here. And I was like, okay, that's fine. So he left, didn't think anything of it, just thought he needed some time on his own. Anyway, So like, I don't know, it's like a week later. And I get a call from this person that sent the message being like, hey Liv, I was just scrolling through my wife's Instagram DMs.
Red flag already, by the way.
And was like, I just recognise a name from like your boyfriend because you were posting him on your stories on Instagram. And I was like, yeah. And so my boyfriend at the time, had sent this man's wife an Instagram message saying, I'm not sure it's appropriate for your husband to be saying this sort of things to my girlfriend. And I was like, oh my God. So I was like, right, how am I going to work out? He was like, don't say anything to him. But I was like, I have to say something to him. But I was trying to figure out what's the best way to go about it. So I was like, instead of saying, have you done this? I'm going to ask him. I'm not going to mention what it is that he's done. I'm going to let him tell me. So we're driving. We're in the car. We'd been at the pub with all of his friends. We were driving back. And I was like, I need to ask you something. And he was like, oh God, what? And I said, so I worded it like, have you messaged someone you shouldn't have?
That's a really, really good way of wording it, by the way.
And he said...
Complete master of manipulation.
Yeah. I
love the way you think.
And I was like, he was like, what do you mean? And I said, have you messaged someone you shouldn't have? And he said, yes. And I said, okay, who? And he went... I messaged a girl that like I messaged a girl that is from my area, and I like obviously knew in my head that wasn't what I was talking about. So calmly I went, and what did you say?
How did you keep calm?
I really don't know.
How did you keep calm enough to think?
I was
about,
like, and what did you say?
Follow up?
I don't know. And I was like, and what did you say? And he said, basically, when I was coming home from your house that night, I messaged her saying, when can I take you out?
No.
And I was like. I can't even remember my reply, but
every time I hear it, I think this is just mental.
I was like, that wasn't what I was even fucking talking about, you idiot. And I was like, you have messaged this person's wife, and he was like, oh my God. So I caught him out in a complete lie.
Web of lies.
In a web of lies. I mean, to be honest, I should have just dumped him there and then, and I didn't, which is so stupid of me.
Yeah, that's wild.
He was like begging, right? He literally was like fully begging for me back, he wrote me. So basically, in this process, I was thinking about what to do, and I was like, right, I feel like because we were just getting back to an okay place. So anyway, we sort of got through that, but it was still in my head. I was still sort of in the process of working out what I wanted to do, basically. And I was going on a hen do with one of my best friends to get married. So we went away for like 3 or 4 days, or 2 or 3 days. And he'd written me like a handwritten letter, like 4 pages, basically declaring his love for me, all of this.
What is it with boys writing letters?
So he wrote this letter. So I read it before he put it, I didn't even know, he put it in my bag to go on the hen. So when I got on the hen and I took out all my stuff, I had this letter. So I read it.
You did read
I read it, yeah, but I was like, well, there's nothing I can
11
do.
pages front and back.
Right? Is that from Friends?
Yeah. Yeah, the ref.
Yeah, sorry. Anyway, go on this hen do, get home. I reckon about 2 weeks later, so we're in like a better place now. I'm like, oh, do you know what? I get a call from one of my best friends. And I was like, this is really weird. She never calls me. So she picks up the phone. She's like, hi, Liv, you all right? And I was like, yeah, good, you? And she's like,
love that. That's
she's like, no, because like we never speak on the phone. She's not the sort of friend that calls me. Like we just text.
Yeah.
And then she goes, we need to sort of date to like meet up for the end of the month. And I was like, yeah, okay. Like you would never call me to tell me that. So like, why are you calling me to tell me that now? And then she went, I need something to tell. I've got something to tell you. Oh. And I went, oh, for fuck's sake. And I was like...
Did you know straight away?
Well, like I had it... Because basically, the girl that called me used to work at the same place I worked at.
Right, okay.
So they had a lot of mutual friends.
Yeah.
And Jasmine didn't work there anymore, but she still had all the same friends. So that they had a massive
Uni
friendship
Jasmine?
groups. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay.
I was like, get to the point. She was like trying to beat around the bush, and she was like, slept with someone on the weekend you were at the hen.
Oh, what?
And I just...
Wait, I don't know why I'm surprised. Sorry, it's just hearing it again. We've not
and
heard
I
it
was
for a
like,
while.
okay... tell me everything. So do you know what's so funny is that I have 2 sisters, and my one sister, I was babysitting for my nephew at the time. So when my sister and her husband got home, this was all happening, and I was like, Emily, get out your phone. So she got out her phone, and I was like, right, tell me word for word exactly what's happened from the moment till the end, the name of the girl, where it was. Emily's like writing it all down on her phone, and then
you can now record phone calls, by the way.
Can you?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Get a transcript out of it after.
Anyway, that happened. So we had it all written down. So I was like, right, now what do I do? So I FaceTime. Oh, I need to show you something. Can you FaceTime me? So I'm at my sister's house on FaceTime to him. And I said, you have one chance to tell me who this girl is and what happened on this night. And he was like, no, I just had my arm around her waiting for a taxi. And I was like, you're full of shit. And I was like screaming, right? And Brent, my sister's husband, was videoing himself, but you could hear me in the background. And he's like looking at his phone like, you could hear me just going, so you're a fucking liar.
Wait, I need to see that video.
It's so funny.
Have you got it still?
So I put the phone down. That was it. And he was like, he called me back and was like, I'm coming to your house. And he came to my house and told me everything.
Oh my God. So he then admitted to it.
He admitted to it all, yeah, that he slept with her and that he took her back to his. So I think in my head, I was like, well, now that he's done that, it's given me a reason to break up with him.
This is the thing I was going to say, is that like mentally, I feel like you were kind of already
done.
Over him. Like you were done, you gave him a second chance. Like I remember you saying like, not really sure I'm in it.
Yeah.
Like, it was when we first became friends.
Yeah.
And then you came into work like, and I was like, are you all right? Like,
I was obviously
could just tell that your eyes have been crying. I was like, you're all right. And then you started crying and I was like,
the thing is, like,
because we weren't best mates, we were such new friends at this point.
I was more sad that I wasn't sad about the relationship ending, because like you said, I was already over that in my head.
Yeah.
But it was more the fact that he had that in him to do that to me. That was what I found.
That's the thing.
That was what I found hard to get over. Like I was getting up at like 5 a.m. and just going for walks because I couldn't sleep. Like, and, like, I was just so sad that he did that to me.
Yeah.
But like I wasn't sad about the relationship being over, and then after that I was so
It's just the way that happened. Like someone cheating on you is never nice, no matter what happened. The fact that someone's got like that little respect to do that is mental.
Yeah, he told me like every detail, everything I wanted to know, because I wanted to know every single detail, and he literally just told me.
Do you think
absolutely
actually finding out every single detail though, like it helps?
I just wanted to. I don't know. I just
wondering anything.
I just had no. I had no then questions. I knew everything, and like so that was like. But that for me was like an easy way.
Okay, so we put a poll out. We've asked you guys for some of your worst breakup stories, and we have picked some of the best of the worst. Shall I kick us off?
Yeah, you go.
We got so many responses. Some of them were so funny. Obviously not for the people involved. So this one is from Chessie. So I already know this one. It's mental. Be ready to drop your jaw on the floor. Basically, she's saying, I came home early from travelling to surprise my boyfriend. I walked into his uni flat. So basically, she had organised with his flatmate from uni that she was going to surprise him after travelling and just like walk in and surprise him in his room. So I walked into his uni flat and he was having sex with someone from his uni. She walked in obviously shocked, and he goes, oh my God, Chessie, what are you doing here? You're meant to be travelling. And she goes, and you're not meant to be underneath her.
Oh my God, no.
Like, she is on top of him, sleeping. She's sleeping with someone else. She walks in and goes, and you're not meant to be underneath her. What? I don't know how she held it together at this point. She follows on to go, I then sat down on the bed and went, hi, nice to meet you. I'm Joe's ex-girlfriend. Like the absolute balls on her to sit down.
I don't know what I would do in that situation.
I don't know what I would do.
Cry.
I have no idea what I would do. You see it in movies. Like,
that sort of shit doesn't happen to someone you know.
Throwing and like it is just you know when they like throw plates or like a lamp
in anger.
A lamp. Yeah.
That is absolutely mental.
That
is mental.
Like.
Imagine surprising, like you're so excited to come home.
She's just flown home from the Himalayas.
Travelling.
Yeah.
Oh no.
And she's like, I'm going to make
humans
you
so
right
horrible?
Now. I know.
Why?
Yeah. And then he goes, and then he said something about like, oh, like we're in a play together and we were just practicing. Excuse me? Excuse me? In what theatre could you possibly be actually having sex on stage? And
no, he didn't. That wasn't his actual response.
No, it was like, oh, we're practicing for like Midsummer's Night Dream or whatever, and like we just.
Oh my! Does he think she's thick?
Well, clearly.
Oh my God! Why?
Absolutely,
Jesus.
Mental. Also, can I also say that if the sound wasn't coming through the door, then clearly neither of them were having a good time. So
fair.
Thumbs up there, sex. Yeah. Anyway, moving on to the next one.
This is from Sarah.
Sarah, anonymous Sarah.
Anonymous Sarah.
Anonymous Sarah.
I was 18 years old and had been on and off with someone for 3 years. Let's say his name is Dave. Dave had a bit of a bad reputation with girls and lots of cheating allegations floating around, but I chose not to believe them.
Wrong already.
Yeah. I'd been going through a rough patch, and Dave went on a night out with his friends, including one boy who we'll call Alan, who I was very good friends with and spoke to almost daily. I didn't hear from either boy for 4 days after the night out, which was sus in itself. When Dave got in touch, his behaviour was shady. A few weeks passed and lots of arguments were had. He was completely different and more of an arsehole than usual. At the same time, there were a lot of cheating rumours circling, but he profusely denied anything to do with them. I knew in my gut that he had cheated that night and explained the weird behaviour, but he would never admit anything. So instead, I decided to lie. In hindsight, I fully gaslit him and told him and told him that his friend Alan had told me that he had done something that night. Giving him a chance to admit, thinking it would be a drunken kiss and he'd regret it. Instead, he replied, "Yeah, fine. I cheated on you by going to a brothel that night."
A brothel!
Andy's dad paid for me to sleep with someone. So not only did I get cheated on, he slept with a prostitute and had paid to cheat on me. Safe to say, we broke up after that.
Sorry. His friend's dad paid for him to
cheat on
someone
her.
at
Yeah,
brothel.
that's mental.
So he's paid for someone.
That is like, that's what I just.
Was she sleeping with him?
It's the most tragic thing I've ever heard.
Was she sleeping with him? Like, did he need to go out and get his fix?
To pay for it is so desperate.
That is so desperate.
So it's so tragic.
So what was like...
I mean, it sounds like she was way better off without him, so...
I mean, he sounded like a red flag from the beginning, but like that is actually
that's
mental.
an understatement, really.
I also think girls are just like, we're so thick when it comes to things like this. Like, we know the red flag. You can smell the red flag.
You just hear what you want to hear and believe what you want to believe.
Yeah, someone will tell you and tell you and tell you. And until you've experienced it for yourself, you are not believing.
No, 100%. But that's just a difference between women and men, I think. Because men don't think like that at all.
Men don't also care.
Men just don't think in general, actually. No, sorry, that's a massive generalisation. But like, you know what I mean? Girls have a different way of looking at things than men. But to pay... Oh, it just makes me feel sick.
That's
disgusting.
Vile. That's vile. Here, let me give you my money to give me an STD.
Oh,
yeah.
Poor Sarah.
I
hope Sarah's happy now.
Yeah, me too. Well, it's safe to say that some of those stories definitely rivaled ours. 100%.
I think they were better. I don't have any like bad.
They were just mental.
Yeah.
Mine's just ridiculous and they were mental. Yeah. But if you guys have got any more stories to share with us, remember you can get in touch. You can message us on Instagram at shutthefrontdoor, or you can email us at shutthefrontdoor@insanity.com.
Yeah, make sure you follow, subscribe, and make sure you like, comment, all of that stuff as well.
Thank you so much for writing in, and we will see you next week.